what's something na misinterpret ng mga tao sa'yo? Like, what do people misunderstand about you the most? Like, a lot of people, I guess I'm gonna say, a lot of people know about what happened at the start of the year, but what is something you have to say about it?
So a lot of people might be thinking, like, what happened at the beginning? The beginning of this year, beginning of quarantine, actually, I started getting a lot of hate. I got a lot of bash.
And it did not make sense.
And a lot of it was just, like, completely false and wrong.
It was all complete, what's that word?
It was noise.
It was all assumptions. Yun. All assumptions that they all thought they could just make. It's kind of like cancel culture. Sa totoo lang, it's kind of like cancel culture. May sinabi yung isang tao tungkol sa taong to, tapos naniniwala lahat dahil sinabi niya.
I understand. And I'm not holding a grudge against everyone who is saying something right now, has said it in the past, and will say in the future. This sounds weird, but I mean, one of the hardest things I've had to learn to do is to forgive people, whether it be my sister or myself or whatever. So this might not help them, or you might not take it if you hate me for some reason. I mean, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. And because of this, parang forgiveness is not for the other people. The forgiveness is for you. Because if you hold it, man, it's
harder.
It hurts. It gets harder for you. So saying I forgive you and saying I'm sorry is not for the other person. It's for you. A lot of people misunderstand as there are quite a few things. When I talk so much about my faith, they're like, "Oh, that's toxic positivity." When I keep silent on social media, like throughout all the bashing, I was silent about it. And I was affected, honestly. I was like in the past, before quarantine, I can say every time I got bashed, no matter how hard I tried, there was always this part of me that was like, ang sakit naman. But for me, I mean, there's quite a few things, but a lot of people think that silence is an answer. Like if you're on social media, and for example, let's bring up an example. Billie Eilish. We all love Billie Eilish. We all know her music. But because a lot of people love her, they automatically hate her at the same time. And if she gets caught in a controversy, and Billie Eilish is that one person that, like, you know, she'll make statements, you know, she'll show she's a bigger person, but she'll also stay silent, right? Silence doesn't mean yes or no. Silence doesn't mean guilty or not. Silence means that I just didn't want to speak out. There's no point. It takes energy. And one of the things, and I'm gonna bring it back to spiritual because this is really something that stuck with me. I think it's Exodus 14:14. It's a part of the Bible. It says, "The Lord will fight for you. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." And so I was like, that was something. And believe it or not, this is something a lot of people say when you walk with God. Anything that if you pray for something and it happens, it's just a coincidence. Coincidence lang yan, pare. Hindi naman totoo yan. It was not a coincidence because I had 3 people in my church tell it to me. One of my family members and 2 of my friends, all in the same day, and they don't talk to each other. They all said that same, in some shape or form, they said, just be still. Just be silent. Just sit still. That's the hardest thing to do when you're in pain or when you're angry. The hardest thing to do is just sit down.
Kasi gusto mo ilabas lahat eh.
Gusto mo ilabas lahat. Gusto mo magalit. Gusto mo mag-react. And I was so close to, man. I was like, man, all of this is not true, and it's just misinterpretations. About 99% of what's being said is just false. And then I actually got a call from someone who's in the industry, but he also goes to my church, and I love this. I don't want to bring him to the whole situation.
I think I know who it is, naman, pero yeah.
I think you know who it is, but this guy calls me up through a common friend who also goes to my church. They were close, and he just wanted to check up on me and see how things were going because a lot of people heard about what was being said.
Yeah.
And he just like said, I opened up and I said, man, I'm worried about other artists feeling, you know, what they think about me because I don't care what the Philippines says, but the people that I work with, the people that I look up to, artists that are older than me and they're hearing these things, like I don't want to go to ASAP one day and they're to be like, oh, that's the
That's
the guy.
the kid. That's the guy. Yep.
Kid. And so he said, like, hey, don't worry about it, because God's gonna speak for you, and when He speaks for you, everyone's gonna shut up. And I don't know if that moment has come yet. I don't care, but from that point onwards, everything that was happening in my life, whether it be my work or the industry or Edward as an artist, and everything from my personal life to my public life, I handed completely over to God. That's when we hung out before. I was spouting so much, stuff about God, and I said this like 3 times. I think even today I had a couple of other stuff that I shot, and I said it.